Who chooses our soul type, and when does that happen?
When a soul decides to incarnate into the earth, it will consult with its spiritual group, and between them and the soul, they will decide what soul type they want to be, because being that soul type will fit into the soul's journey in terms of what the soul wants to accomplish on the earth, wants to learn on the earth, or wants to create on the earth. So it's very important to know what type of a soul you are. Usually when you choose, you stay that type of a soul in your entirety. There are 7 different soul types.
What is a king soul?
The king soul positive traits, they're benevolent, charismatic, commanding, composed, comprehensive. They're masterful, they're natural leaders, they're perfectionists, they're very stable, they're troubleshooters, and very, very good strategic masters.
So this is what I exemplify to other people. If my soul is a king soul,
if you are in tune with your soul and you're a king soul, these are the things that you definitely would grow. If you are not in touch with your soul, then you may express the negative traits through your personality, which would be arrogant, controlling, demanding, extravagant, heartless, inflexible, intolerant, overbearing, and ruthless.
what is a priest soul?
Well, priest soul's positive traits, they are impassioned and compassionate. Like a good shepherd, lovingly lead the flock to better pastures. They become a guiding light to all. They can be very philosophical. They know their stuff. They're usually very on a much higher level where they want peace, where they want equality, and they want what's good for everybody. They care about everybody out there. If they are expressing the negative side of the soul, pre-soul traits, they can become intensely self-righteous and preachy, determined to convert everyone to a single vision, whether they believe it or not. They want people to come into their vision. So that they can be very, very manic about that, you might say. Very committed.
And what is a scholar soul?
Well, a scholar soul is exactly that, a scholar.
So is anyone that's a scholar soul?
Well, the positive traits is that scholar souls are able to develop clear, objective understanding for the good of all. They can be useful experts and authority on a particular subject. They can be a marvic on a new idea. They study, they prove, they do all of that. They've studied it, they know it, they're teachers. And the negative sides, they can be theoretically issues that are impractical and of interest to no one but themselves. It's meaningless. They're just trying to prove something that's just not going to go anywhere.
So would that resemble an intellectual that is overbearing?
They could be, definitely, yes. And try to get you to see what they see from their idea of how to, they're more self-absorbed.
What is the characteristic of a artisan soul?
Well, the artisan souls, their basic focus could be described as applied imagination.
Which means?
When it comes from the heart, this leads to creation, the gift of genuine creative fulfillment. They're very creative, they're very inventive.
Einstein was an artisan soul. He was an old artisan soul. So he definitely was very creative, even though he didn't think in his early career that he was. But he was very, very creative. That's how he came up with his theories, because he imagined.
So most inventors would have those characteristics.
Not necessary. Depends on who the artisan soul is. To be the total opposite of Einstein, Elvis Presley was an artisan soul. He was a young artisan soul, and he changed the whole look of music and how he expressed it, and shocked a lot of people when he came out with it. But yet, that changed the whole trend. You might say with a whole evolution and revolution in the music industry, in the pop music industry. He brought in rock and roll. Shocked everybody. But he was definitely an artisan soul who
reflected the negative
yes.
side?
No, he didn't reflect the negative side. There was nothing negative about his music. He reflected the positive side through his expression of music.
What is a sage soul?
Well, sage souls are naturally entertaining and articulate. You can find a lot of them in the acting industry. They excel in communication with both wit and wisdom, so they can be writers or they can do plays, all that kind of stuff. They totally exude a lot of energy and are funny and entertaining. And the sage soul's negative traits, they can lapse into overperforming, overacting, and being melodramatic rather than being real. They can try to hog the spotlight, loving the sound of their own voice, craving attention for its own sake, rather than to actually communicate something of value.
What is a warrior soul?
Well, warrior souls are just fighters, you might say. They're peaceful warrior souls. They are forceful, effective without being overbearing. In other words, respectful, persuasive, courageous, protective, and they'll fight for the good. They'll fight for the higher good of everybody. And they are powerful in that sense. They can definitely get followers to go along with their idea of evolution or revolution if they have to. And now, if they're not in tune with their soul's purpose, you might say, the warrior soul can easily descend into intimidation and brute oppression. The ends justify the means, and they approach what gets results may be perceived as useful, no matter how unpleasant for others. For example, to give you, Winston Churchill was a warrior soul. And he demonstrated all the positive things of a warrior soul. The negative things of a warrior soul could be mob leaders, mafia leaders, those kind of leaders that intimidate and get what they want through all that.
Are bullies warrior souls?
Who?
A bully. Someone who goes around bullying people.
No, a lot of people, no. There could be any soul to do that. That's a personality demonstration of their false sense of power. Bullies are bullies. And that's a learned behavior.
So a bully could be a scholar soul or a king soul.
Any of them, yes.
Okay. What are the characteristics of a server soul?
Well, server souls, there's probably more server souls on the earth than anything else. Very altruistic, that's the energy. They are the most altruistic and accommodating of the roles, tending to put the needs of others first, even if it's to their own detriment. In the positive role servers, the server soul might be better described as a saint. And the only one I can think of that was very altruistic would have been Mother Teresa. But most of us are not going to live up to that if we are server souls. Because the problem with the server soul's negative traits is bondage and servitude. The individual identifies with being with someone who has no choice but to work their fingers to the bone for others and for no thanks or reward. That's where a server soul does everything for everybody else and does not take care of themselves. The payoff to that is a life of regret, anger. Oftentimes they're being left alone because they can be perceived as being very controlling in their efforts to help people. They want people to do it the way they want to do it. They anticipate your needs without asking and then go about serving your needs. So I always say go from a caretaker to a caregiver. That will raise the vibration. So you go from the server soul negative traits to the server soul positive traits. The caretaker takes care of everything that they think you need. A caregiver only takes care of those and do things for them they cannot do for themselves.